Hi folks, and welcome to today's video. Exercises and relief positions for sciatica and disc herniations. Now, first time here, my name's Colin. I make a lot of great content to get folks back on the road who've got low back pain problems such as sciatica, herniated discs, bulging discs, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that is you, hit that subscribe button. You're going to be notified when I make some new content onto YouTube to get you back on the road to pain-free recovery. So, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I'm going to be talking about herniated discs combined with sciatic nerve pain, and I'm going to be throwing out there 3 pain relief positions that you can do to bring that sciatica pain down, back pain as well potentially down, 4 exercises which you can do to help strengthen your core to also help reduce that pain, and 5 things you want to avoid if you're suffering from this particular problem. Now, I myself have had an L5-S1 herniation twice in my lifetime. 20 years apart. The first time was 2005, last time was 2024, so it's 19 years apart actually. I've recovered both times without the need for surgery. I've been helping people for more than 25 years with low back pain problems, sciatica, herniated disc, bulging disc, stenosis, etc., bring them back to pain-free living, get themselves back on the road to recovery, doing their sports and activities they were doing before. So I'm going to jump right in and give you guys 3 pain relief positions, okay? So when you get a herniated disc, quite often lumbar region, if it's L5-S1 or L4, L5, it will push on the sciatic nerve root, and you'll be getting pain down in your foot, maybe the back of the calf, front part of the shin, in your glutes, okay, your bottom, right down the back of the hamstring. That's the root, so where the sciatic nerve runs, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to take some stress, tension off the lower back region, try to create some space in about that vertebra where the disc is herniated, try to give that nerve some space. So one of the easiest ones you can do, you can get a chair, or it's going to be side of a bed, side of a couch, okay, and you're just going to swing your legs up there, so not straight, because if you straighten them, you'll end up stretching the nerve, okay, we don't want to do that. We want to just place the legs up on the chair here and just relax, okay? Now the key thing here is just to keep breathing, nice big breaths, and you want to be getting some pain relief in this position, okay? Maybe you go a bit closer, maybe have the legs a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher in some cases, okay? But you want to take, lying flat on the ground is not the same. You need to elevate the legs to take tension off this front muscle here, okay? It's called iliopsoas muscle, and that puts the tension off of the full lower back region. Now, if you can stay here 5, 10, 15, even 20 minutes, maybe on your phone doing some emails, okay, reading a book, okay, just to give you that pain relief time, okay, and give yourself a sort of time to get escape from it mentally as well, because when you're constantly in pain, that's very tough on you mentally, okay. Now, this is number 1 position. Number 2 position you can try is basically, it's also called a McKenzie push-up or a McKenzie prone position. It's where we're going to be lying face down here, and I'm just going to move this out of the way a little bit. I'm going to be face down on the mat, like so. So here, and then I'm slowly, very carefully, bring myself up onto my forearms, like so. Okay, so in this position here, we are going into extension. Now, most disc herniations are posterior in the lumbar region. The theory is once we go into extension, we're trying to push that disc material forward, okay, like anterior towards the front of our body. And hypothetically, we're taking the pressure off of the sciatica nerve if it's being impinged, compressed by disc material, all right? Now, so if this brings you relief, okay, in this position, again, you would stay here 2, 4, 5, 10 minutes, as long as you comfortably can, okay, maybe you read a book, again, work on your phone, etc., okay. The point is, of course, to relax, okay, let that lower hip region sink into the ground, okay. Don't try to push, any higher, just stay with this very first basic position to begin with, all right. That's relief position number 2. Now, for some people, this doesn't bring relief, so there's an alternative. There's a 3rd position I can show you here, and this requires the use of, this could be a rolled up towel. I've got a blanket here, could be pillows, could be 2 pillows, could be 3 pillows, as many pillows as is often needed, and they're going to go just sort of below my belly button
top of my thigh region there, okay? And we lie face down on those and put the back of the hands on the floor, front of the hands, and place your head, palm, forehead on the back of the fingers. And just breathe, big deep belly breaths. Now, you might need 2 pillows, 2 towels, whatever, to find that point of pain decreasing, okay? Once you get into that position that's comfortable, then again, you want to stay there 2, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 minutes, all right? As long as you can hold that position, just to give yourself some pain relief time in your day. Now, you might have to do these things 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day to get through your day. But with this particular injury, it is a marathon, it's not a sprint, all right? You got to do what you got to do to get back, okay, to being pain-free. And sometimes it can take this amount of work and effort being put into it every single day, okay? Now, there is one word I must say, point of caution. If any of these exercises make things worse, okay, you have to stop, of course, change position. All right, these should not make your sciatica or your back pain worse. Now, obviously, if your sciatica pain is very, very bad, you maybe have lack of bladder control, defecation control, like severe drop foot, okay? Of course, you'll be going to see, emergency room doctor immediately. You may have what's called cauda equina, which is severe pressure on the lumbar nerves, and that will require surgery, okay? So caution, okay? Proceed with caution when you're doing these activities, all right? So, there's 3 relief positions. Now I'm going to move into 4 exercises you can do as well. All right, folks, so going to change it up now and move on to exercises that you can be doing to help you decrease that pain, get yourself stronger, back on the road to recovery, all right? Now, this may sound like a no-brainer, but you want to remain as active as possible, okay? The days of telling people to take a week, 2 weeks and lie on your back flat, okay, with herniated disc issues is completely gone. Maximum now 2, 3, maybe 4, very maximum days of bed rest. They want you moving as quick as possible, get the blood flow going, okay? When you walk, there is this gentle action of compression, decompression on the disc anyway. The disc is avascular, has no blood supply. You have to get blood pumping around the area for nutrients and such to diffuse across the disc membranes. So, number 1 is you want to be walking, okay? If you Colin, I can only walk across my room, 1 minute, 2 minutes, that's fine, okay? Let's go for that 1 minute. Take a break, do it again in 10 minutes. Okay, take a break, do it again in 10 minutes. If you can get a bit further, say you can get maybe 10, 15 minutes before the pain kicks in. Right, okay, in that case, you're gonna go for 10 minutes, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a day. You're building up that accumulative load, right? Don't push yourself into that pain point every single time, because you're just gonna keep re-emphasizing to the body that this will become painful, right? If your pain kicks in at 12 minutes, you walk 10, maybe 10 and a half, okay, in total. And you do that numerous times in the day. And that'll build up cumulatively throughout the day. Okay, you maybe end up walking an hour in total, and you've done it in a pain-free fashion, okay? So number 1 is get walking, all right? Now, number 2, it's actually mobility stroke exercise. Maybe you could also call it pumping, okay, for the discs. And it's called cat-cow or cat-camel, right? So let me show you that. So we're here in an all-fours position, hands under my shoulders, knees under my hips, spine is neutral. Now, carefully, slowly, gently, we are going to go into extension. So I'm going to lift my head back, extend my spine, and then slowly, carefully, I'm going to unwind, and I'm going to flex and basically push my upper back up towards the ceiling, drop my chin to my chest, and then uncurl. Now, you're going to do this in a pain-free range. I cannot stress that enough, okay? Do not push this exercise into the point where you actually feel pain, okay? What we're doing here, we're mobilizing the lumbar joints. We're effectively moving material in and out of the discs by gently moving them. And you see the pace, I'm going very controlled, very smooth here, okay? Head is tilting backwards, and it's chin to the chest. And you would aim for maybe 10 to 15 movements in total. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
just like that, okay? Perfect. You can do that a couple of times a day in your routine, okay? Now, moving on from there, something a little bit more dynamic and is similar to the exercise we did at the beginning. It is a partial McKenzie push-up, okay? So we're gonna be down here in the prone position again, hands in front of my shoulders, and I'm gonna be basically pushing up. I'm gonna keep my hips down, and I'm just gonna push up and come down. Just gonna push up and come down. Now, what we're effectively trying to do with this, again, it's this creating an extension, hopefully trying to push this material forward, anterior, off of the compressed nerve root area. Okay, so gently we push up and come down. As you push up, breathe out. And when you come down, push out. 10 or 15 is all you need. Obviously, if this brings about an increase in pain, you would stop, move on to the next exercise, okay? Push up and breathe out. So push up, breathe out. Breathe in. Push out, breathe up. And relax. Okay, 10 to 15, a couple of times a day. If you get, improvement, if the pain should feel better from that, you can do it 3-4 times a day. Perfectly acceptable, okay? Now, moving on from there, we want to also create some stability in the lumbosacral region. Now, I do recommend a full body program when it comes to rehabilitation. I've got many videos on programs that I've done. I will link to one of those at the end of this video, so keep watching, okay? That'll pop up. It's a little beginner rehab program that you can do. But generally, you want to be stabilizing the core region, working upper and lower body as well. This particular exercise, it's a nice little beginner exercise to start with to help stabilize that core and get the glutes firing as well, okay? So obviously we've got number 1, we've got our walking, okay? We've got our cat-camel, cat-cow. We've got number 3 there, which was just our sort of McKenzie slump push-ups. Number 4 is going to be a basically one-legged bird dog. Okay, now you may have heard of the bird dog exercise, might be given to you in rehabilitation. For this, we're going to be, again, in the off, I'm going to spin this way, all fours position, hands under my shoulders, knees under my hips. And I'm going to take my left leg, and I'm going to basically extend the leg away from me. Hold for a second, bring it in, glance the floor, and extend. Now, a couple of things. I push my body away from the floor. I don't let myself sink down. I push away. I hold that position, bring it in, and extend. I'm not kicking it up here. I'm extending backwards. I hold 1, 2. I bring it back. Push, extend, hold 1, 2. And I'm trying to brace my core, keep my shoulders tight, okay? Hold, and bring it back. Push, extend, hold, and back. I would do 6 to 10 on one side, and then the other side, 6 to 10. And relax, okay? Again, you can do that 2 or 3 times a day. If you're getting relief from it, which you should do, then you can also bring in the full bird dog. I've got a specific video on that as well, which I'm going to link to the end of this video, okay? So you can go and check those videos out for you guys. Now, there's your 4 exercises. Now, let's go over now 5 things you want to avoid. Now, 5 things you want to avoid when you're coming back with a herniated disc, especially with sciatica. Okay, number 1, very, very important, is avoid trying to stretch your hamstring, okay, like this, because when you put classic hamstring stretch, foot on a small chair, or stool, etc., people, they bring the toe towards them, they crank forward, you're putting all that tension on the sciatic nerve, which is already irritated. You just make things worse, okay? Stretch around it, stretch the glutes, side of the glutes, calves, hip flexors, adductors, okay? But try to avoid hamstring stretching in the beginning, because you're just going to exacerbate and basically make it very angry, your sciatic nerve, all right? Number 2, one thing I would definitely invest in is a sciatica pillow. Okay, these things are great for the chair. So basically what you do, you pop this in your chair if you work at your work chair, and you sit on this, okay? Helps to take sort of stress off, okay, it gives you some relief from that sciatica nerve when if you have to sit a lot for work. I know when I got mine, it was night and day difference, okay, that first 24 hours felt a big difference, right? If you do have to sit, drive to work, okay, work chair, if it doesn't have very good lumbar support, try to get some lumbar support, either with a rolled up towel, okay, blanket, etc., because you want to be sitting not with a flex spine, right? You want to be sitting with this sort of an extension. So use that support behind you to give you that sort of forcible extension. Again, we might have to do it for the car, we have to do it for the work chair. What we're trying to do is avoid too much flexion, okay? Because the flexion action is pushing that disc material back in towards that nerve, okay? It's stressing it all the time. We're trying to take some of that stress off, all right? Now, on the subject of flexion, it has basically been recommended a couple of times in the literature that you want to try to avoid flexion. Flexion is where you're flexing the spine forward, okay, for the first 3 to 4 hours of the day. There was a couple of studies done back in the 90s, looked at people with back pain and back pain issues, and they found that when they avoided flexion for the first 4 hours of the day, that they had a reduced pain intensity and reduced number of days in pain. And it does make sense biomechanically. If I'm getting up in the morning and I'm immediately bending over to touch my toes with a herniated disc, freshly herniated, plus sciatic nerve pain, I'm just going to make things worse, okay? I'm trying to avoid flexion, basically, which will mean not sitting, okay, as much as you can, right? Brushing your teeth, okay, don't be leaning over the sink, okay? Use the sink for support, brush your teeth, right? Because what they found was it basically helps the disc to reduce in height, because obviously gravity is acting upon your spine, right? And the disc gets smaller, it takes pressure off of the nerve, okay? So number 5, you want to avoid flexion before noon, or the first 3 to 4 hours of the day. All right, guys? So listen, I hope that has been really useful for you. There's 3 pain relief movements, 4 exercises, and 5 things to avoid. Comments, questions, hit me up in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the content, of course, don't forget to share and subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.